All right, ready to dive in. Today, we're going deep into the world of Baba Vanga.
Oh, yeah, the Nostradamus of the Balkans, right?
Yeah, exactly. And you know what's so fascinating about her predictions?
What's that?
They weren't just limited to her lifetime.
Right.
She left behind prophecies that stretched centuries into the future.
It's incredible, isn't it? Touching on everything, global politics, scientific discoveries, you name it.
It's like she had a sneak peek at the whole human story.
And the thing is, some of her past predictions are unbelievably accurate.
Oh yeah, like what?
Well, there's the Kursk submarine disaster,
Oh wow.
and even, get this, Barack Obama's presidency.
Seriously.
Yep, it's mind-blowing.
That's what makes exploring her work so fascinating, right? Sifting through the hits and misses, trying to figure out what might be in store for us.
Exactly.
So today, we're focusing on a bunch of articles about Baba Vanga,
Mhm.
specifically her predictions for 2025 and beyond.
Okay, so 2025 is basically right around the corner.
Yeah, it is.
And according to Baba Vanga, Europe might be in for a pretty wild ride.
Oh, wow. So,
She predicted a major war breaking out there.
a war. With all the tension and conflict going on right now, that's a prediction that's got people a little freaked out, I bet.
It definitely has people on edge, but the thing is, Baba Vanga didn't really go into detail about this war.
So we're kind of left in the dark about the specifics.
Yeah, it's all pretty vague, unfortunately.
Talk about cryptic, right? It's like trying to solve a puzzle with half the pieces missing.
Exactly.
But here's where things get really interesting.
Oh.
Baba Vanga also predicted that humans might finally unlock the secrets of telepathy in 2025.
Telepathy. Wow, that would be a game changer.
Imagine a world where we can just transmit our thoughts and emotions directly to each other.
It would revolutionize everything.
Not just technology, but how we understand consciousness itself.
It would be a whole new level of connection.
It's mind-boggling. No more misunderstandings or anything. Okay, so moving on. Another prediction for 2025 that could completely change healthcare. The perfection of lab-grown human organs.
Think about it, organ transplants would be readily available,
No more waiting lists, right?
and our lifespans could potentially increase dramatically.
But, doesn't that raise a ton of ethical questions about what it means to be human and how far we should push science?
It definitely does. It's a complex issue.
It's like something out of science fiction.
But with all the advancements in biotechnology, it's becoming more and more realistic.
And speaking of science fiction, get this. Baba Vanga also predicted that aliens would make contact with Earth in 2025.
Aliens. Seriously.
Yeah. And here's the kicker. She said this first contact would happen during a major sporting event.
Okay, now that's just wild.
Would they show up at the Olympics,
But
the World Cup, Super Bowl?
And how would we even react to something like that?
I can already see the headlines. Aliens crash the World Cup final, or extraterrestrial touchdown at the Super Bowl.
It's so bizarre, it's hard not to let your imagination run wild with it.
For sure. It makes you wonder about the possibilities, Cultural exchange, new technologies, the impact on human consciousness.
Absolutely.
So, speaking of sports, Baba Vanga also had a prediction for Formula One fans.
Oh, yeah.
She predicted Lewis Hamilton winning his 8th world championship.
That's not too surprising. He's a legend.
But here's the twist. With Ferrari in 2025.
The Ferrari.
Yeah, and given his recent move to Ferrari, that prediction has gotten a lot more interesting.
It would be a historic moment. He'd be breaking Michael Schumacher's record.
It would be incredible, cementing his place as one of the greatest F1 drivers ever.
Absolutely.
Okay, last but not least, for 2025, Baba Vanga predicted the discovery of a mysterious new energy source.
A new energy source. Interesting.
But she didn't give any clues about what it might be.
So we're left to speculate.
Could it be something totally new? Something we haven't even thought of yet?
It's definitely a possibility.
Could it be the answer to the global energy crisis?
Or maybe it'll lead to all sorts of new technologies.
Maybe even take us beyond our current limitations. Who knows?
It's exciting to think about the potential impact on our world.
New industries, geopolitical shifts, a whole new way of powering our lives.
It's mind-blowing.
So there you have it. Just a taste of Baba Vanga's predictions for 2025.
From war and aliens to scientific breakthroughs, it's a whirlwind of possibilities.
Each with its own set of implications for humanity.
Right, but it's important to remember that these are just predictions, not guarantees.
Of course, we need to approach them with a healthy dose of skepticism.
And a critical mind.
That's what makes diving into Baba Vanga's prophecies so captivating, right? It's a mix of intrigue, speculation, and a bit of doubt.
Absolutely, it's a puzzle we're trying to solve.
And to get a better sense of whether we should take these predictions seriously, it's helpful to look back at Baba Vanga's track record.
You're right, let's see how she's done in the past.
So we mentioned earlier that she reportedly predicted the Kursk submarine tragedy, the 9/11 attacks, and Barack Obama becoming the first black president in the United States.
Those are some pretty big hits.
It's hard to ignore the accuracy of some of these prophecies.
They definitely add to her credibility as a prophetic figure.
But to be fair, we also have to acknowledge that not everything Baba Vanga predicted actually happened.
It's true, there were some misses along the way.
Like the prediction that the U.S. would be empty by 2018.
Or that a new religion would emerge in 2010.
And of course, there was the prediction of the world ending in 2010.
Yeah, those obviously didn't come true.
It's important to keep those misses in mind as we evaluate her other predictions.
It definitely adds to the mystery surrounding her.
Why do some predictions hit the mark while others are totally off?
It's a question that keeps people coming back to her work, trying to figure out the secrets behind her prophetic abilities.
And maybe even the nature of prophecy itself.
It makes you wonder what makes the predictions stand the test of time, capture people's imagination.
It's a question that has fascinated humanity for centuries.
And it's one that fuels our interest in those who claim to see beyond the present.
Now, Baba Vanga didn't just stop at 2025.
Oh no.
She made predictions that go way beyond that, some even more dramatic and, well, a little bit unsettling.
Dramatic and unsettling. I'm intrigued.
That's where we'll pick up in the next part of our deep dive.
Okay, I'm ready for it.
Get ready to explore Baba Vanga's long-term predictions. Things get even more thought-provoking, even a little eerie.
Sounds fascinating. Let's do it. So Baba Vanga's long-term predictions, huh? They're pretty out there.
They are right. They get really, really interesting.
Like, she wasn't afraid to make some bold claims about the distant future.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so let's jump in, shall we? One prediction that really stands out is her vision of Europe under Muslim rule by 2043.
Whoa, that's a big one, right? I bet that sparked a lot of debate.
Oh yeah, definitely. It touches on some sensitive topics.
Religion, culture, power dynamics, the whole shebang.
Exactly. But I think it's important to approach this prediction with, a critical eye.
Not just take it at face value.
Yeah, like think about the broader context,
Demographics are always changing, cultural landscape shift. It's all in flux.
Right, so maybe it's more of a commentary on those trends, those shifts.
A symbolic statement about the growing influence of different cultures and beliefs.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
It makes you think about all the potential factors that could contribute to such a change.
Like what could actually lead to that?
Migration patterns, cultural exchange,
Yeah.
how religious and political ideologies evolve. It's all connected.
It's a complex web, for sure.
And then there's this prediction. A return to communist rule by 2076.
Whoa, communist rule. That's a blast from the past.
Right. It's almost like history repeating itself, a pendulum swinging back and forth.
It's fascinating, especially considering Baba Vanga lived through the rise and fall of communism in Eastern Europe.
She saw it firsthand, right? It must have had a huge impact on her.
Definitely, her experiences during those turbulent times probably shaped her worldview.
It maybe even influenced her predictions.
Makes sense.
Like, is this prediction based on a belief that communist ideology will actually make a comeback?
Or maybe it's more of a warning about the dangers of authoritarianism,
The cyclical nature of power, how those patterns repeat throughout history.
Right, it's a cautionary tale.
Makes you think about the complexities of political systems, how things can change so drastically.
Definitely.
Okay, so let's fast forward a bit to the ultimate prediction, the one that has captivated people for generations. Baba Vanga's vision of the end of the world.
Oh yeah, the big one.
She saw it happening in 5079 due to a natural catastrophe.
A natural catastrophe. Whoa, that's intense.
It's like it taps into our primal fears, the idea that we're not really in control.
The fragility of human existence, the forces that are bigger than all of us.
Both terrifying and fascinating at the same time.
It makes you wonder, what could actually cause such a catastrophic event?
An asteroid impact, a supervolcanic eruption, or it's something we haven't even imagined yet.
It's chilling to think about.
It is, but it also makes you appreciate life more,
Yeah, it makes you realize how precious our time on this planet really is.
To live each day to the fullest, because who knows what the future holds.
Makes sense.
Oh, and there's another one. Baba Vanga also predicted the emergence of a new race in 2043.
A new race? Like, what does that even mean?
It's a real head-scratcher, isn't it?
It challenges our whole understanding of what it means to be human.
Like, could we see a hybrid species emerge? A blend of human and artificial intelligence.
Or maybe a new form of consciousness altogether.
It's like something out of science fiction, but who knows?
It raises some serious questions about the future of human evolution.
And our place in the universe.
For sure.
So we've talked about Baba Vanga's predictions for 2025 and beyond, her hits and misses, the impact she's had.
It's been quite a journey.
But I'm curious, what about you personally? What's the one thing that stands out to you most about Baba Vanga?
For me, it's the paradox of her life and her legacy. It's really striking.
What do you mean?
Well, here she was, a blind woman living in a small village, but her predictions reached a global audience.
She captured the imagination of presidents, scientists, everyday people. It's pretty amazing.
It really is. It speaks to the power of belief,
Yeah.
the human need to understand the unknown.
And that fascination with prophecy, it's something that's been around for centuries.
It's timeless, And even though many of her predictions are open to interpretation,
Right. They're not always crystal clear.
they still manage to spark curiosity, debate, a sense of wonder about the future.
I think Baba Vanga's story reminds us that the future is full of possibilities.
That even with all the uncertainty, there's always room for hope, for imagination, for the belief that we can shape our own destiny.
Absolutely. And as we move forward into this uncharted
The
territory,
future, right?
we need to keep that in mind. Approach things with a healthy dose of skepticism, a thirst for knowledge, and an open mind.
I like that. A healthy dose of skepticism, but also a willingness to explore the possibilities.
Exactly. And before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, there's one more prediction I think we should touch on.
Oh, which one is that?
It's the one about Europe becoming sparsely populated.
Sparsely populated. Now that's a chilling thought.
It is, right. It makes you wonder, what could lead to such a dramatic decline in population?
War, disease, mass migration. The possibilities are pretty unsettling.
They are, but it also highlights how fragile human societies can be.
And how interconnected we all are. What happens in one part of the world can have ripple effects everywhere.
Exactly. It's a reminder that our choices today can have consequences that stretch far into the future.
And that we all have a responsibility to protect our planet and each other.
That's a powerful message. It's easy to get caught up in the sensationalism of these predictions.
Right. The doom and gloom.
But what really matters is how we respond to them. Do we let fear and uncertainty paralyze us?
Or do we use these predictions as motivation to create positive change?
That's the question we should all be asking ourselves, because the future isn't set in stone.
It's constantly being shaped by our actions, our choices, and those unpredictable forces of history.